Hello everybody, Draykke here again with another Minecraft tutorial, and today I bring you the newest version of my dropper elevator, which by far is the most viewed video on my channel. You guys really love your item elevators, so I decided to take another look at my design, and I actually, believe it or not, came up with a design that is even smaller, it is more compact, it is more resource light, and it is infinitely expandable, both horizontally and vertically, which is insane, in my opinion. I don't even think there's any other designs out there right now that are expandable in both directions. So what I mean by that, for those of you not following, I mean that this thing can be as tall as you want it to be, and you can also have multiple of these stacked side by side. So for example, as this over here is, this is a dual dropper elevator. This will move items at twice the speed that a single dropper elevator would. And not only that, but this design itself is completely repeatable. So you can have dropper elevators stacked horizontally in 4s, as you see right here. You can have them stacked to 16 dropper elevators if you want that. You can have 32. It's completely up to you. You just have to have them fed by hoppers, obviously, which I did not explain in my last video, so it did cause a little bit of confusion for some of you guys. The droppers will have to be fed by hoppers down here in the bottom, but that is the only thing that is with these guys. This is infinitely expandable, like I said. You can have as many of these as you want, which is really, really great for automatic farms, especially if you have businesses set up where you just grow items that are harvested automatically, and then these dropper elevators will pick those up and just shoot them right up to your shop, so it is really, really great. So as I am talking to you guys now, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a stack of 64 wool inside this dual dropper elevator here, and I will show you at the top there is nothing in this chest up here, so as this stuff is transported, I'm going to talk to you guys. You just toss your items in. Like I said, they will have to be fed by a hopper, but that is the only downside to it. Everything else, completely automatic. It is completely silent, very, very efficient. Every now and then I did have a bug with a single dropper elevator where just one item would get caught in this dropper, but if you put in multiple stacks, it sorts itself out, so it ain't a big deal at all, and it's only with the single dropper elevator. As with my last design, it is more compact, more resource light, as I already said, infinitely expandable, which I don't think there's any other ones out there like it, so it has that advantage over everything. Best of all, the size of this dropper elevator is 1 by 4. 1 by 4, you're hearing me correctly. 1 wide by 4 long for the entire design. That's nuts compared to the other ones out there, so I really wanted to share this design with you guys because I am really proud of it. So the base materials that you will need to build the single dropper elevator design here are as follows. You're going to need 4 building blocks of any kind. It can be anything you want to use. You need 1 piece of redstone dust, 1 redstone repeater, 2 redstone torches, 1 redstone comparator, and 1 dropper for the base materials for the system. That is basically just everything that you will need to get the redstone in place. That way you can actually start building your elevator up to the level you want to take it to. You are also going to need 2 building blocks of any kind, 3 redstone torches, and 2 droppers for every level of your dropper elevator. So if your dropper elevator is going to be 20 blocks high, you're going to have to take all of these materials and multiply them by 20 to get the estimated materials that you will need. Now obviously the droppers, I have it set up incrementally so you just have an even number of 2, but that can change. It doesn't have to be an even number dropper elevator. Just with my last design, it can be even or odd. It does not matter. The only thing that will matter is the placement of the chest. So for example, I think this one is odd numbered, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. This one is 9 blocks high, and then you have a chest on top. It can be 8, it does not matter. You just take out the chest, that dropper, and just move it down 1 block. It has no impact on how it actually functions. So the droppers in estimation will not be even. It'll be whatever you decide to make it, so that estimation for the materials is obviously off, but you will see that when you actually start to go ahead and build it. Now for the dual dropper elevator over here, which I showed you guys in the beginning of the video, it is slightly larger than the original design. It is 2 by 5, and the reason for that is because this back block here extends back 1 block for the redstone, and that is the only place that it will extend back. Aside from that, it is 2 by 4, and that is pretty much the entire size of the design. As you can see, the redstone is slightly different on either side, but I will get to that in a minute during the tutorial portion. So the items that you will need to build this design go as follows. You're going to need 8 building blocks of any kind, 2 pieces of redstone dust, 2 redstone repeaters, 4 redstone torches, 2 redstone comparators, and 2 droppers as the base materials for this system. That is all of the redstone that is not included in the tower itself, and obviously these redstone torches inverted in the back. The other materials that you will need for each level of the dropper elevator goes as follows. You are going to need 4 building blocks of any kind, 6 redstone torches, and 4 droppers for every level of your dropper elevator. Now obviously this extends it up 2 levels, as I mentioned before with the single design. These droppers are incrementally in groups of 2, but it does not have to be like that. It can end even or odd. That part does not matter. And now we can actually go ahead and check on our stack of wool that we originally put in the beginning of the video, and as you can see, it is already up here in a chest, waiting for us, a stack of 64, delivered in perfection. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this. It is such a simple design, so it is not going to take much time to run you guys through the tutorial. So to start building this thing, you need to find out where your dropper elevator is going to be. I'm just going to place mine right here, and I'm going to go ahead and place the first dropper facing upward. That way I have a nice base to work with. So once you have it in place, you want to come around any side of the dropper elevator, it does not matter, and you want to place a block coming off of it just like this, with a comparator facing straight outward from that dropper. Now you want to put a block in front of that comparator, and then 1 block below that, you want to come out like this, 2 blocks below, and you want to place a torch on the other side of this block. You want to place a piece of redstone dust underneath that torch, with a repeater facing into the block that is underneath the comparator, and then you want to place a redstone torch on the other side of that block, right underneath that original dropper. Okay, so now we can work on the dropper and the torch towers, which are probably the simplest part of the design. They're hard in survival just because, you know, you have gravity to deal with, but aside from that, they are relatively easy. So basically, you just extend up this dropper tower as far as you want to take it. I'm just going to go a random number because it doesn't matter. I'm just demonstrating to you guys. So say this is how tall I want my dropper elevator to be. That is perfectly fine. Make it as tall as you want it to be. And then after you have that done, you just need to do the torch tower. So you just come to where this torch is at, right on the other side of this block with the comparator, and you want to place a block on top, torch on the side facing inward, block on top, torch on the side facing outward, and block on top, and you just repeat this in pattern over and over and over again until you reach the top of your dropper elevator, however tall that may be. So it should look just like this when you're all done, and that is good for me. Now on the inside of these blocks facing towards the droppers, you want to place your redstone torches. Just like this, and because my dropper ends here, I'm going to place another block on top of this torch and place a redstone torch facing inward, because this torch will innervate this dropper. So now after you have that done, you can place your chest on top, or, you know, another dropper, however tall you're making this to be. Mine happens to end on a chest, and that's pretty much the entire design. All you need to do now is just hook it up to a hopper system somehow. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, for me, the easiest part is a chest. I just throw it on top, and then I can dump whatever items I have. So I'm going to dump in a stack of wool, and you can see the system doing its thing. Okay, so now that the elevator is done, we can go ahead and check to make sure that it delivered all the items. And there is your 64 wool that we had inside the chest, all delivered safe and sound. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to build the dual dropper elevator design that I have featured over there. The redstone is almost identical to what you just got done building here. It's just slightly different because these redstone wires down here cannot cross, otherwise it would screw up the system, so we have to have it just slightly different. But you're basically going to do the same exact thing that you did here. You're going to place your dropper right next to your existing dropper elevator that you just built. Then you're going to place a half slab instead of a full block. You're going to place a redstone comparator facing outward, block in front, redstone torch facing outward, your 2 blocks underneath, and then you're going to place 1 block diagonal to those blocks that you just placed, and that's where your redstone dust is going to go instead of down here. Now, right here where this block's at, you want to place a redstone repeater facing off of this block, 2 pieces of redstone dust going underneath this half slab, into a solid block, and then a redstone torch on top of that solid block underneath that dropper. Okay, from this point on, the design is exactly the same. You just stack up your droppers however tall you want your elevator to be. I'm going to go ahead and just meet it up here with the design I already made. And then you just go do the same exact thing in the back with your torch tower. So just place your blocks, whatever striation you're going with. You want to place your redstone torches going all the way up, and I don't need one there in the back. You need to place them on the inside. And then you need to place them here also facing towards the droppers on the inside. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a chest to the top. I'm going to add another hopper to the bottom because you have to feed into this bottom dropper. And then I'm going to place another chest, that way the items are removed equally. So now I can go ahead and throw in a stack of wool. I will put this on a time lapse, and then once it is done, I will show you guys the end result. Okay, so now the elevator is done. As you guys might have noticed, that was much faster than the original design, obviously because this one is twice as fast. So inside this chest is your 64 wool, all delivered to the top super fast and super reliably. And now from this point on, you basically just take this entire design, this 2 wide design here, and you just repeat it over and over. So for example, if you want to make this a 4 wide dropper elevator, as I have done over here, you just take this part and you just put it side by side. So here is the original design that we did. Here is the secondary design to place next to it, and then you just repeat this pattern. So original design again, secondary pattern, and you just do that as many times as your heart desires. Just know that you have to have a hopper going individually into each one of these bottom droppers, obviously because it has to be fed with items in order to work. So if you want to, say, take a stack of items, all centered, deliver it between these chests, and then deliver it all up to the top, you would have to do a setup here where you have 2 chests on top of the hoppers, you have 2 more hoppers, and then a chest here. So if I put the 64 items in this chest, it will divide them up equally, put them into these chests, and then divide them up equally between the dropper elevators to move them up to these top chests that I have located up here. Alright guys, that is pretty much it for this entire tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please drop me a like down below. If you really liked it, press that subscribe button, favorite and share it with your friends, drop me comments, send me personal messages. I love all of that stuff so much. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other content on my channel. I do tons of other tutorials, tons of Let's Plays, Redstone for Hire, all that good stuff. Thank you so much again, and I will see you next time.